It's wonderful to hear how happy everyone is to be here. Good evening and welcome. I am Kathy Mullins, and I am proud to serve as the Vice President of College Advancement and the Executive Director for the GRCC Foundation. Thank you. Tonight we have the privilege of honoring Dr. Stephen and Karen Ender as they prepare to retire, and we're so happy that you're all here to help us celebrate and honor them. Before we get started with this evening's program, let's get a few housekeeping items out of the way. First of all, I would ask that if you haven't already done so, please turn off your phones. As someone said, there's something like March Madness or something going on right now, so I want to make sure that you're not watching the game. Secondly, I would like to acknowledge our students and scholarship recipients that are joining us for the festivities tonight. We have strategically placed students at the various guest tables tonight in hopes that you all would have the opportunity to interact with them and hear their stories and hear exactly how important these scholarship dollars are to them. So I would encourage you to spend some time and converse with these students because they are some really great stories. Students, would you please stand? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce you all to the community leaders of our future. Go ahead and have a seat, students. Thank you. As we prepare for dinner, I am thrilled to welcome to the podium the Honorable George Hartwell to do the invocation. After the invocation, please enjoy your dinner and the music that will be performed by our very own GRCC Piano Trio.
Thank you, Kathy. You're applauding for the prayer, I know. Okay. Join me, please, as we pray together. God of creation, source of wisdom, fountain of love, throughout all history, invisible one, you have shown yourself in acts of mercy, deeds of justice, and tender relationships between people. This evening we celebrate the contributions of your servants, Steve and Karen. For in and through their lives we sense your eternal longing for harmony and for the fullness of a world at peace. In education and administration, community service, and careful attention to building strong relationships, Steve and Karen have made ours a better place to live, yours a better world. Bless them as they step boldly forward into a new way of caring for your creation and its people. Continue your provision of wisdom, of courage, of tender affection. Give them peace, contentment, and a measure of love to match the love they have given to us. Bless us all and keep us in your tender embrace. Amen.
I hope you all enjoyed that wonderful meal and your dinner conversations. How about the wonderful music performed by the GRCC Piano Trio? Our piano trio is directed by Dr. Libor Andras, and thank you all so much for that beautiful performance. I would like to now introduce you to our phenomenal GRCC concert choir. Be prepared to be amazed, as the sound you will hear coming from these students is absolutely beautiful. Directed by Scott Bosher and accompanied by Dr. Kenneth Boss, our students rehearse countless hours for amazing concerts and performances just like the one you are about to see. You are about to hear why President Ender gets emotional every time he hears from our students perform. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the GRCC Concert Choir.
One day as I was walking beside a clear sunny stream, I spied a trout so dashing and emerald he did seem. This quick, magnificent creature entranced me as I stood. Such beauty found in nature is also fair and good. Such beauty found in nature is also fair and good. Fisherman came near me and boldly stood upon the shore. He had a string of fish, yet he hoped to catch one more. I looked into the water so crystal clear, I thought, my trout is free forever, my trout cannot be caught. My trout is free forever, my trout cannot be caught. This fisher was no sportsman, he had a scheme. He made of everybody and cast into the stream. And when he reeled his line in, he caught my fish and pulled him out. My heart was filled with sorrow at how he tricked the trout. My heart was filled with sorrow at how he tricked the trout. She was a pretty little gosling, and a gay young gosling he.
And I love you, he said.
So dearly, and I love you too, said she.
But alas, we must part.
He whispered, I'm off to the world so wide. But love, don't fear, I'll come next year. And make you my little bride. 'Twas Michaelmas Day at morning that he came home once more. He met his true love's mother, and oh, she was weeping sore. Too late you've come, she whispered, they've taken your love away. She never will be your bride of me. For she's going to be cooked today. Then up he went to the farmhouse. Where is my love, he said. But the farmer's wife, she seized a knife and cut off his little head. And she served him up with his true love on a dish so deep and wide. So in life they were parted,
Now that's how we kick off a program at GRCC. Thank you, students, for that wonderful performance. We wish you all success as you continue on your academic journey here at GRCC. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight to honor and celebrate with Steve and Karen Ender. You are the largest ScholarFest crowd we've had to date. Before we begin our tribute, I would like to first acknowledge the GRCC Board of Trustees, the GRCC Foundation Board, elected officials, and any retired trustees or board members in the room. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you all so much for your service to GRCC and to our community. We have so many people to thank for tonight's event. Thank you to the ScholarFest Honorary Committee members, the Foundation Board members for their great work around fundraising for this particular event, and to all of our sponsors this evening. You will find the list of sponsors in your program, and the list will also be scrolling on the screens here on stage. Tonight's sponsors include our title sponsor, Spectrum Health, our diamond sponsor, Amway. The platinum sponsors for this evening are Fifth Third Bank and Meyer. Our gold sponsors are David and Michelle Bottrell, the Bezzetta family, Custer Incorporated, the Dick and Betsy DeVos Family Foundation, the Richard and Helen DeVos Foundation, the Doug and Maria DeVos Foundation, Karen and Steve Ender, the Peter F. Secchia family, and Steelcase. Thank you so much to all of our lead sponsors. In total, we had 44 businesses and individuals sponsor this evening's event, and we are thankful and grateful to you all. I also want to take a minute to mention that Spectrum Health has been an amazing partner this year. In addition to being this evening's title sponsor, Spectrum has also committed to funding healthcare scholarships at GRCC. The Spectrum Health will be sponsoring $355,000 a year in perpetuity to our students here at GRCC. This generous support of our students and our community means that the GRCC Foundation will be awarding over $1 million in scholarships for the first time in its history this fall. This investment in the future is directly contributed to President Ender's legacy and Spectrum's Health's commitment to the community it serves. Thank you to President Ender and Spectrum Health for their commitment to the success of GRCC students. It is now my pleasure to introduce Michigan House of Representative Winnie Brinks, representing Michigan's 76th House District.
Good evening. As she mentioned, I'm Winnie Brinks. I'm the state representative, and it has been an honor to serve the city of Grand Rapids for the last 4 years in the state legislature. And most of all, it's been an honor to serve alongside other great city leaders among us. And of course, tonight, as we honor Stephen Ender, it is my pleasure to be here. One of the great things that we have an opportunity to do as state representatives is to honor people when they achieve lifetime goals and are celebrating key milestones in their careers. And tonight I have the opportunity to present on behalf of the state of Michigan a special tribute on behalf of the people of Michigan to Dr. Stephen C. Ender, and I would like to invite you up. let it be known that it is my distinct honor to recognize Dr. Stephen C. Ender upon the occasion of his retirement as president of Grand Rapids Community College. With the commitment he has shown to our state throughout his career, he has exhibited the highest standards of citizenship, professionalism, and leadership. Dr. Ender has over 40 years of experience in higher education and has held various teaching, counseling, and administrative positions throughout his career. He has also extensively published in many journals and textbooks. In 2009, Dr. Ender became the 9th president of the Grand Rapids Community College. He has worked diligently, there we go. He worked diligently to improve student success and retention, stabilize the budget, improve teaching and learning spaces, and increase funding for student scholarships. Although his accomplishments during his tenure are too numerous to name, he should be proud of the exceptional leadership that he has provided. As Dr. Ender embarks on the next chapter of his life, I hope he will take the time to reflect upon his record of service and take pride in his many accomplishments and successes. He has truly made a difference in the lives of the people of our state, helping ensure that Michigan continues to be a great place to live, work, and play for generations to come. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to honor Dr. Stephen C. Ender for his accomplishments and service to the entire state of Michigan. Please accept my sincerest thanks and best wishes for continued success and prosperity in all of your future endeavors. And I present to you this tribute on behalf of Governor Rick Snyder and all of the people of the state of Michigan.
Please. Unexpected, and I feel truly honored. And I will speak later, but I did want to, just one side note to the program. Look, all you Michigan fans, if you're peeking at the phone, that's okay.
Wow, permission from the guest of honor. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Representative Brinks. The next segment of our program will be dedicated to President Ender's community legacy. Please join me in watching this video, and then we will hear from Fred Keller, founder and chair of Cascade Engineering. Fred is a wonderful advocate for GRCC and a great friend of Steve and Karen.
Prior to 2009, Grand Rapids Community College has had 8 full-time presidents. Names like Davis, Andrews, Terrell, McCarthy, Calkins, and Oliveras are associated with unique phases of GRCC's 100-plus years of growth and change. Tonight, we begin to define the impact our current president has had on our college and our community. It is an impact that has been felt internally and externally by college students, staff, and partners of GRCC. It is an impact that will be felt by many for many years to come. And so we begin with the broadest perspective, that of other local leaders who have observed President Ender in action outside the college.
What a night. And we're here to celebrate a man who is a friend to many and a friend to me, and I thank you for that, Steve. You know, in the beginning, and we remember, it wasn't that long ago, when Steve was interviewing and was selected, and there's always this tension in the air. You know, you're hoping that the most important thing when you're searching for someone new for an institution is that they have the desire, they have an interest, they have a plan, they have some understanding of the needs. But overall, you want to know that somebody is competent and can get the job done. And as the years unfolded, it was clear that the selection committee had done a great job with Steve. He was on the ground in an incredibly short period of time. You know, there are folks who live in this town for 50 years and are not considered Grand Rapidians yet. But Steve was able to encourage us all to accept him as a really wonderful friend and a really good part of Grand Rapids. It was with that kind of start that we knew that Grand Rapids Community College was in good hands. And Steve worked incredibly hard at it. He does that in a way in which is not directive and yet bold. He does it in a way in which he endears people to him as opposed to separates them. He has really done wonders with this kind of a job. He sits down face to face with people. He is able to have an explanation with the big picture, and he really is able to enlist the support of folks as opposed to being directive. Steve's an incredible leader. We have all come to admire his style and his abilities. And he gets the job done. It's incredible to watch and incredible to be a part of this. And Steve and Karen are friends. They're wonderful friends, as you know, if you are any association with them. And whether he's in his office or whether he's making a formal speech or whether he's in his incredibly profuse vegetable garden talking with his neighbors, he is authentic, he is caring, and he's effective. And it is with that kind of background that we are here tonight to celebrate and to congratulate Steve on a job well done, on a legacy that is secure. And in recognition, you have left your mark on Grand Rapids Community College, but you've left your mark in Grand Rapids. And it's really meant a lot to all of us. Thank you for all that you and Karen have done to make Grand Rapids Community College a better place, an even better place, moving it to its next level and being more effective all the way. And thank you, Steve and Karen, for being a friend. And now if you'd sit back and watch the rest of the community giving you some accolades.
Well, I thought I had a tough board in Pennsylvania, and look at me.
When Steve Ender first stepped foot on campus, he would quickly learn that if he were chosen to be our president, he'd have to hit the ground with both feet running. Our state and national economies were in recession. We were on the verge of adding Davenport University's old campus to ours, growing a long list of aging infrastructure that needed updating. Steve Ender knew he couldn't tackle these issues alone.
Ender embraced this community, and this community embraced Steve. It was one of the easiest transitions that I've ever witnessed in terms of someone coming from the outside leading a major institution and yet fitting in as quickly as he did.
President Ender's investiture hinted at what his approach to leadership would be. It included a multi-day colloquium, inviting members of our community to share their perspectives and inform this new president of what he needed to pay attention to.
I was so impressed because here was someone who also wanted to listen. He knew that everything was new to him, and he had a lot to learn about Grand Rapids and what made community college special and the place it had in the hearts and minds of the community. And he just listened. And that's a real gift.
Among Ender's first accomplishments, returning GRCC to its status as an open-door institution. Where previously the college had been capping enrollment, Steve Ender knew that being responsive to our community, especially during a recession, meant opening our doors wide. And it also meant reaching out to local donors like never before.
It wasn't long after Steve arrived that plans were underway to develop the Davenport College campus, and that represented a significant development opportunity for the college. And Steve embraced that, and he did it in a very practical way, knowing that this would really be a big step forward for community college.
Despite the growing generosity of local leaders, President Ender knew that the infrastructure needs of the college would far surpass what he could raise. And so in 2012, the college pursued an increase to our countywide millage that would be dedicated to updating facilities and technology.
We don't like to reach out and ask for help, but today I am reaching out and asking for help on behalf of this institution.
It went through all of that, went through public vote, and it did not pass. And not only did it not pass, it didn't pass by a wide margin. So we knew that that wasn't an option. That being said, we knew we still had a significant problem.
The solution? The college would issue its own bonds, raised on the revenue from a facilities fee. And while this would add to the cost of tuition, it would transform the learning environment for every building on campus.
He doesn't give up. He just thinks on it, is able to step back and think from a big picture standpoint, and just, comes right back at it in a different direction.
Local donor support would continue to be critical for many college projects, from the Meyer Business Center as part of the main building construction to the refurbished Ford Fieldhouse and Hunsberger Arena, from newly opened Phyllis Fratsky Early Childhood Learning Laboratory to the soon-to-be reopened Albert Smith Music Building and Lynn Maxwell Keller Performance Hall.
He is an amazing fundraiser. I don't know that I've worked with a leader that does that better than President Ender.
Some of the most prominent changes have occurred within the college's Secchia Institute for Culinary Education, which has seen the installation of a state-of-the-art amphitheater and the establishment of a craft brewing program, largely thanks to the relationship between President Ender and Peter's Pub namesake, Peter Secchia.
He was always really on top of his game. His hard work, his support, his leadership, his attention to detail, and my good fortune to help projects like this. And if we can create jobs or train people to be ready for jobs, that to me is a magnificent function of a community college.
The college has demonstrated to the community its flexibility, adapting to the demand for greater local certification by being one of the first institutions to sign a reverse transfer agreement with other four-year institutions, allowing students with enough credits to retroactively earn their associate's degrees. GRCC has established many middle college programs with local school districts which, along with other high school offerings, allow students to earn an associate's degree debt-free. And one of the most far-reaching changes comes in the form of legislation he championed, allowing communities that are not contiguous to GRCC or any other community college to opt to be a part of a community college's local funding district.
Steve was able to make the case why this was good. It was a rather long process, as a lot of things in Lansing can be. Late last session, we were successful in getting this piece of legislation finally through the Senate Education Committee and on its way to the governor's desk, and he signed it in December, and it's now law. Steve has an incredible way of being very frank and honest, and I think people appreciate that and immediately want to trust him for that.
In terms of connecting with our community, Stephen Ender presided over the biggest celebration GRCC has ever experienced, our 100th anniversary, which boasted the visit of former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind, as well as the dramatic gala celebration that raised over $1.3 million in scholarships. It was a shining moment for the institution and for our president.
I really do believe under his leadership that the perception of the college has changed. The way Steve led the college really made the community understand the critical nature of the community college to the health of the community.
We could not do this without you, and I am so grateful to everyone in this room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Dr. Ender, for working so very hard to ensure that GRCC meets the needs of the employers and the students of this great community. You truly changed the way that GRCC worked in terms of meeting the workforce development needs in this region. The bar has been set high, and our community has and will continue to benefit from your leadership for years to come. We are now going to switch gears a bit and reflect on President Ender's impact and legacy as it relates to our students. And it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Brandon Sinclair. Brandon is a GRCC alum and former president of Student Congress. Brandon also served as a student representative on the GRCC Foundation Board. Brandon?
Well, thank you, Kathy, and thank you all for being here tonight. That was such a great presentation. I know that we're only halfway through with it, but yeah, it's just absolutely spectacular. So thank you once again for the introduction, Kathy. President Ender has been a great inspiration to me as a student here at Grand Rapids Community College. There were multiple qualities that I've observed in his leadership style over the years, but the ones that I've been most impressed with have been his integrity, his compassion, transparency, and his strong values. President Ender always took the time to speak with me and talk to me whenever he saw me on campus, and he always made time for students and put them into his schedule. He supported the work that I did as president of the student government, and he also served as a mentor to me and my fellow colleagues. He supported our activities and he was always first to volunteer for the dunk tank or to take a pie in the face, always for a student cause, so thank you for that. His sincere interest in seeing that every single student could succeed at Grand Rapids Community College was evident in all that he did. Students on campus knew that they had an advocate and a friend in President Ender, and that really meant a lot to us. When I graduated from Grand Rapids Community College, I knew that I had the academic and life skills that I needed to continue on my path to success. And I also knew that I had a great leadership mentor in President Ender, and for that I say thank you. And now it is my distinct pleasure to share with you the next bit of this video, the student aspect, that will further examine President Ender's impact on students here at the college.
President Ender's concern for students has been central to all his decision-making. It has motivated his efforts to raise scholarship funds, to improve student surroundings, and to create a greater sense of equity and opportunity for all. Our Office of Diversity has become the Bob and Alicia Woodrick Center for Equity and Inclusion. We analyze student success data more precisely, understanding how specific student groups perform. We continue to find ways to save students money, such as open academic resources, which obviates the need to purchase textbooks. And we are changing the way students plan what classes to take and who supports them while they are at GRCC.
As we implement guided pathways so that there are cleaner options for students to choose what path they want to be on, that will enable our classroom faculty to take a greater role in academic advising.
The policies and programs and philosophies that have been introduced in the last 8 years are also paired with a special personal interaction. something our students learn to value in their president.
I think the thing that most people don't see about Steve is really how sensitive he is and how caring he is, particularly in regards to students. I've appreciated the opportunity to work with him and to see that side of him.
I feel that Dr. Ender is a very considerate person. Everything Dr. Ender does, either directly or indirectly by his actions, shows that regardless of what your opinion on any given topic is, he's always willing to listen.
I've worked at a number of different schools prior to coming to GRCC, and the presidents at some of those other schools, they were the president, and they didn't really come and just sit down next to a student. And if the student is having trouble, he'll get students connected to resources. I know he's referred a number of different students to me just to try to help figure out, okay, this is happening in their lives, how can we help them so they can be successful in school?
He honestly has such a caring personality. You can see it when he's participating in things that he really wants these students to succeed. There's just something about his character that puts him over the top of that normal that you would see from a college president.
In fact, the students who belong to Phi Theta Kappa felt so strongly about the support President Ender has shown that they nominated him for an award he'll receive in April, the Bennett Lifetime Achievement Award at PTK's National Conference, affectionately called Nerd Nation.
What I love the most about Dr. Ender is the fact that he's involved. He's involved in the activities and the events. And he's involved in ultimately the things that concern this college. We just recently had a Giants Award, and I saw him and I ran up to him. I say, Dr. Ender, guess what? He said, hey man. I said, you know, I was awarded the Milo Brown Scholarship. And he looked at me, he grabbed me so tight, he gave me the biggest hug, he gave me the biggest kiss on my cheek. I was like, wow.
There is no doubt that the students of Grand Rapids Community College will miss the person they have been proud to call their president for the last 8 years.
Dr. Ender, we're so thrilled to have you be a part of our chapter and be so active, and we're so happy to have you coming to Catalyst with us this year. And we have something for you to help you be one of the nerds alongside with us.
He believes in his students. He believes in people, in us here in this college. And he believes in us, and he wants each and every single one of us to succeed. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Ender. Thank you for your time here. Thank you for everything that you have sowed to make sure this college is successful. Thank you for being an example to me.
Just so you know. And this is the one time I can say you are a nerd, and it'll be okay. Yeah. So as you can see, President Ender has made a tremendous impact on the students in his tenure at GRCC. His focus on what is best for our students has never wavered, and he has always had the time to lend a helping hand or a listening ear to any student that reached out to him. The student voice was never missing when it came time for the president to make important decisions, and it is that student-centered focus that will always and forever be a part of the Ender legacy. The third and final piece of tonight's program will focus on the Ender's accomplishments and contributions to the GRCC family. For this portion of the program, I would like to invite David Cucci to the podium. David is the chairperson of the GRCC Board of Trustees.
Steve and Karen cherish every second of this evening. Sometimes I wonder, Karen, if you recognize the man that's been honored here tonight. Only you know if he's the same person at home as what he is when he is around us. Steve, it does seem like only yesterday that this college invited you into its space to be its leader. When you came to us, the cost of running this institution were escalating at a pace which put long-term financial stability in serious jeopardy. You don't need to be reminded of how diminishing state revenues placed increased pressure on you and your team as you balance the need for offering the highest in quality program while maintaining a commitment to this college's impressive history of serving an economically diverse community. Through your leadership, Grand Rapids Community College became an attractive choice for higher education throughout this community. As we were drawn to capitalize on that attraction, you continued to remind us to never decrease our focus on the thousands of high school graduates who, because of financial realities or hiccups on their own journeys to a high school diploma, had no other choice. You helped us navigate this complex tension with integrity, always making sure that whatever strategy chosen, the results of that strategy would never result in any staff person losing their job. Steve, you leave this place a better place. The number of scholarships granted today far surpasses any time in this school's history, and that trend line will only escalate. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we say thank you for your love of this place and your unwavering commitment to the people this college is called to serve. And now please join me as we watch yet another short video, this one highlighting Steve's impact on the community college family.
He may have started on crutches, but soon he was running at a full sprint. And from the beginning of his administration, Stephen Ender looked internally for guidance and support.
I come in here with the perspective that there are very competent, capable people at this institution that are, as I would be, thrilled to be working here, and that we go out and do our best every day.
It began with not just a pay cut for himself and top administrators, but also a request to staff that they donate their cost of living increases to a fund that would help pay for student tuition. Staff responded, giving more than $147,000. A large part of his success came from his commitment to budget transparency. Never before in GRCC history were staff made as aware of the budget process as they have been under Stephen Ender.
If you can share budget information, if you can talk about options and make strong recommendations with a large, very representative team, the more success you're going to have in implementation and just across the board going forward.
The focus at the time Steve arrived was really on, we can't serve absolutely everybody. We have to know the number of people that we can serve well and do that well. And Steve really felt that that was not in keeping with the mission of a community college. We are here to do everything in our power to serve all comers.
I think one of Dr. Ender's legacies is going to be our work around Title III, and not only in getting that grant, but helping us to bring that grant to action. We were able to establish the College Success Center and staff it with success coaches and develop a program called Fast Track, which helps students to bypass developmental education, getting through their courses faster and staying at GRCC through graduation.
How's this for a measure of success? In 2009, GRCC had 56% of its students needing remedial education. That rate is now down to 42%.
And that's pretty remarkable, given the statewide average of 60%. That's a legacy that he should be very, very proud of.
With success comes recognition, and GRCC was honored by Ruffalo Noel Levitz for success in student retention. We were named an Achieving the Dream Leader College, one of only 19 nationwide.
We knew when the grant ended, we'd have to find a way to take our fast-track efforts and bring them as much as possible to scale. And we've done that because Steve has said, in our budget, let's find a way to do this.
We've really, taken a step back from the annual budgeting cycle, which I think is critical and has allowed us to implement some things and have the resources to do that after a large grant period was done.
Making the most of available resources is another of Stephen Ender's trademarks. That includes encouraging staff to pursue national and local grants to support the work of GRCC.
We've been able to stand up initiatives that have been directed toward underserved populations. We have grant funding that have gone toward giving people training and getting people into jobs that give them not just a job, but a living wage job. And that's a big deal. To say that there's been impact in terms of workforce development under the leadership of Dr. Steve Ender, that is true, if not an understatement.
President Ender has always appreciated the caliber of the employees of GRCC. He would push staff to find new ways of measuring that quality, establishing performance review for several employee groups.
He knew we had a quality faculty. We really didn't have an evaluation system that allowed us to show that. We have a faculty evaluation system now that's really worthy of the work that we do.
From the beginning of his tenure, he pushed for changes in our strategic planning process to make sure that those at the table were representative of the college as a whole.
One of the very first meetings I ever had with him, and he said to me, I've never been anywhere where they didn't have like a plan with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Do you think we could change? Well, he was a new president, so I said, yeah, sure, we can do anything you want. But that's been really good for us. I think it's a lot easier to describe a strategic plan that has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
President Ender helped rethink the role of the college-wide strategic leadership team. The recommendations of this group consistently became the priorities of the college, which subsequently are supported by the Board of Trustees.
He's never even once not accepted a recommendation. He's always accepted the work of that group and validated the work of the group.
This collective approach to planning was one of the reasons GRCC, in 2015, earned its reaccreditation from the Higher Learning Commission.
This reaffirmation extends accreditation to 2023. I congratulate all of you in this audience for a job well done. Accreditation is a team sport and is accomplished by the quality work performed by all of you.
Thank you, Chairperson Cucci. When Steve and Karen moved here 8 years ago, they immediately recognized that this was a special place. GRCC wasn't just a community college. GRCC was a family filled with faculty and staff that cared deeply for one another and cared deeply for the college and the students we serve. These family values were also the same values held near and dear to Steve and Karen's hearts. So it only made sense that this college and the people that work here would become an integral part of their lives. Now, I would like to draw your attention to the video screen as our final video tribute for the evening rolls.
Steve Ender has always been the first to point out that any success he has experienced has depended on many others, but primarily one person in particular.
Karen's unfailing love has always been at my side and has been a source of strength for me.
Karen's always been part of the conversation around the presidency here at GRCC. So then when he came for his interview, he told the interview team that day, if you are to hire me as the president of GRCC, you get a twofer, because Karen will be right along beside me, working in the community, working just as hard as I do.
GRCC has benefited from the tireless efforts of Karen Ender since day one. From supporting the GRCC Foundation by recruiting donors, to helping guide the 100th anniversary gala, to attending countless events on behalf of the college, Karen has in many ways been as much the face of GRCC as has her spouse. But in addition to that role, she has poured her heart and limitless energy into serving many of our future and current students personally.
Karen's been a volunteer with Grand Rapids Public Schools, where she worked with students to help them improve their reading skills. Karen has spent a lot of time helping with our ESL program and helping students prepare for their GED. She also helped students with their reading in that ESL program, where she worked with students helping them prepare for their citizenship exams.
All of which means that, thanks to Karen Ender, there are more students making it to college, more students making it through college, and more individuals being naturalized as Americans.
When you see Karen in the community and she works with people in the community, talking with them, the first thing she says when she comes to a group is, "Did you know?" And every "did you know" is followed with a GRCC fact or tidbit, just explaining to people how GRCC is their community college and how they can help support it. So she's a tremendous advocate for us in this community.
Thank you, Karen Ender, for all you have done for Grand Rapids Community College and for our community.
Karen is indeed an amazing woman. She was an integral part of the work that President Ender did in our community, and with that work came great success for GRCC. Karen's work directly impacted the individual successes of so many of our students, and with those student successes, she made this community, her community, a better place. Thank you, Karen. We have been blessed to have had you as the First Lady of GRCC. Steve and Karen have devoted the past 8 years of their lives to advocating for the college and advancing the community college mission for the betterment of our community. They did this work because they believe in our mission and they believe in their GRCC family. And knowing that, the final piece to the Ender legacy is their love for and dedication to everything that is GRCC. It is now my pleasure to introduce you all to the other Dr. Ender. Dr. Ken Ender, the president of Harper College and twin brother of President Stephen Ender.
Steve has not given a testimony to himself, just so you know. Let me first say good evening and just say what a pleasure and an honor it is for myself and my wife Kathy to be with you all tonight. I've watched the videos and I've thought about Steve and Karen and frankly thought a lot about their family. Karen's parents and Steve's parents, Steve's kids, Karen's sibling, our brothers and sisters back in Richmond, and how I know how deeply proud they would be, Karen and Steve, if they could be with you tonight. So Kathy and I, on their behalf, have the honor of representing them. You know, I thought it was really interesting, Fred, you talked about Steve becoming a Grand Rapidian. Left on his own to his own devices, that would have never have happened. You know, I was thinking 3 weeks ago, I was asked, I actually started to focus on, I got to say something tonight, because Steve had asked me and I was honored that he did. But I also wanted to think about the couple, because no president takes this job by herself or by himself. If you have a spouse or a significant other, it is a partnership. So I thought about Steve and Karen. I thought, what would be the best analogy that I could think of that would describe their approach to Grand Rapids and the presidency? And it didn't take long before this image. I was running in the woods, or what I like to call running. This huge peanut butter and jelly sandwich emerged in my head. Now, I don't need to tell any of you in the room who's the jelly and who's the peanut butter. By themselves, jelly's a little too sweet. And peanut butter is really, really gummy, clings to you. But together, it's the smoothest sandwich in the world. Karen brings to this presidency a sense of style and elegance and social sense of self and the folks around her, and helps Steve in every way cross those bridges. Left to his own devices, he'd be on the corner, folks. Steve, on the other hand, brings that earnest, chewy, buttery taste in your mouth. He sticks to you. And when he really gets to you, he sticks hard. So they're the perfect combination for this role that they have in this community. And there's no question in my mind that both Grand Rapids Community College and Grand Rapids, not only today, but in the future, will build on the work that they've done and the legacy that they stand for. Let me just say one or two words about Steve, who I've known longer than, frankly, I never thought I'd live this long to know somebody this long. I have deep, deep, deep admiration for my brother. He may be the best community college president I've ever met. I guarantee you he is the most authentic and real person I've ever met, for better or worse. He is who he is. And I think the defining moment in this presidency and the defining moment for who Steve Ender is, and I was so glad the video talked about it, we had this $100 million referendum. And Steve and Karen worked their rears off to get that passed. I heard about it incessantly. And Steve knew it was hard, but he also knew that they were well-liked, they were respected, they were regarded as good stewards of this community and their resources. So why wouldn't the community finance these desperately needed programs? And they failed. They lost. And here's where the measure of the man and the measure of the couple come forward. They lost, but they were not beat. So you can win and lose, but you don't get beat unless you quit. And Steve Ender has never quit on anything in his life. I would tell you, it may have been 48 hours. I don't think so. First he called and told me how angry he was. And then they called, and it couldn't have been 12 or 14 or 16 hours later, and he had a plan. He said, we're going to get this done. This is how we have to get it. So he nurtured the legislature. He worked the foundation community. He picked some of your pockets. And he convinced the Board of Trustees in some very difficult financial times for the students that the students must help support a bond referendum. These were courageous, courageous conversations that he had and very important work that he did. The difference between winners and losers at the end of the day, and what defines a winner is a person who will never, ever, ever quit. And that man will never quit. I am blessed to call him my brother. I don't understand how I could be older than he is and he gets to retire before I do. It just goes to show you that he's smarter, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor and great pleasure to introduce to you now Dr. Stephen C. Ender. Steve. So I want to assure you that retiring is not quitting, right, Ken? That's not what's going on here tonight. I have some remarks to make that I need some more time to think about. And I wouldn't be complete if I didn't introduce to all of you the person who in 2 years, and we're walking down the street and we're together and someone says, do you know, I think I know that guy. You know who that guy is? And whoever they're with, oh yeah, that's Karen Ender's husband. That's where this relationship will be in a couple of years. Karen is, in fact, my better half. She is the one who brings grace to the conversation. She is the one who has, for the 25 years, we celebrate our 25th year anniversary in July. It's unbelievable to me, 25 years. And for all those years, she has been my raving fan. I mean, I used to wonder why. You know, what is it that she sees in me? And I've thought that tonight as I've watched some of this, you know. And she's always said, Steve, you're a leader, and you know what you're doing. And you go about your business in a way that people trust and admire. Don't ever think that you're not capable of doing what you're doing today. And there have been many times at GRCC, and maybe I'm not normal, but I think many presidents ask themselves this question, am I capable to get this done? Well, Karen would not accept that thought coming out of my mouth. That was a non-starter. Get your butt out of bed, get out of this house, and go down to work and accomplish something today. That's what I live with every day. So Karen, if you would please join me on the dais, I would like to have you by my side at this time. I don't know why I had to ask, but I said, Karen, did you prepare anything? Well, yeah, sure I did. I have something, but we don't have to. Yes, we do have to do it. If you're watching the game, that's fine.
What is the score? Does anybody have the score? It's okay. Just curious.
How much time is left? 4 minutes? You guys, I tell you, I love all of you. I really do.
Should we take a pause and then resume?
Keep watching. So Karen, I'm going to let you go first, and we'll try to be brief.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support of GRCC. And I just can't really believe we're at this point. So thank you. First, before we go further, I just want to thank Kathy Mullins and Mary Reed and Aaron Sisler Van Egmond for the work they've done to put this whole event together, along with many other people. Class, I love you dearly, and Class Quant, our audiovisual guru, and everyone who worked on this. So thank you so, so much. And the culinary school, the pastry group who did the dessert, part of the dessert, and the musicians who are here as students as part of the phenomenal music building and music program here at GRCC. So thank you all. When I learned I was coming to Grand Rapids, it was absolute joy. My oldest, dearest friend, Wendy Wones, who I've known since I've been 5 years old, lived here in Grand Rapids, so this was phenomenal. And actually, I've known David, her husband, longer than I've known Steve. So, and I had been here before to visit, and having no idea that Grand Rapids, or him, was in my life. I was so proud of Steve for the opportunity to come here, and I knew he would do a tremendous job. But I was concerned because in 08, 09, the recession, the impact on Michigan, I said to Steve, for sure, if we're not the only people moving to Michigan at this time, we are certainly the oldest moving into Michigan, coming into this opportunity. But who knew I would fall in love with Grand Rapids? And I just can't tell you what a phenomenal community this is on so many different levels. And the wonderful friends we've added to our circle beyond Wendy and David. And I look at you guys, and you are forever friends. I mean, it is just such a gift and a blessing to come here. And to meet so many of you in this room has just been so special. So it's very bittersweet to leave this college and to lead what I think is just a phenomenal institution. And I've had insights both as students and at different institutions, but also at this college and Steve's previous places. And this place is truly special. And the faculty, the staff, the history, and the future with Dr. Bill Pink and his wife Lori is just grand. So early on, I gave myself the role of head cheerleader for this college. I stopped introducing myself as a community volunteer, and I said, my roles, I'm head cheerleader for this college, and it was so easy to brag about this college and brag about all that you do and did. And so I am just going to claim, going forward, the new title of Head Cheerleader Emeritus. So I hope that's okay. So thank you, and thank you for your support tonight and for the scholarship dollars. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Karen. Again, the grace side of this equation. I think you've just seen some of that. The only thing I can say after an evening like this is thank you. We absolutely feel like we may not be Grand Rapidians, Fred, but the gene certainly has rubbed off on us in a very big way. We have established deeper relationships than we've had as a couple with other folks in this city and in this region. And of course, some of that comes as part of your role. You meet a lot of people, but boy, what I really was quick to realize is the genuineness of the people that we were meeting. And that seems to run in the DNA here, quite frankly. And to be able to live and work in a community that truly solves problems together, leverages resources together, rolls up their sleeves and gets it done rather than waiting for someone to do it for them. To be part of that community is very, very, very special. The college, for me, has been the capstone of a 43-year career in higher education. It was a job. I mean, God, it was work. Sometimes it was horrible work. It just is. It just comes with the territory. I mean, we all have jobs. That's why they call it work, you know. Come on, this is not supposed to be easy. But when you are taking students from a place they don't want to be to a place that they don't know where that might be, but there's this gap that has to be filled, and it's called education, and you are the lucky people that get to fill that gap. That's what brings Grand Rapids Community College folks to work every single day. And I've seen that for 8 years. I mean, I've seen this college team attack problems and deal with sacrifices, and at the end of the day, come to work the next day and ready to go, and how can I help you? Let me serve you as Grand Rapids Community College. Every employee is an ambassador at GRCC. So to be part of that team, that's a very special, special place to be. To have all those skill sets around you. And I've worked at some fabulous institutions, big names. I've never had a team around me as gifted, competent, dedicated, authentic, willing to put students first as I've had at GRCC. And I've never been at an institution in a city and region where people believe in the work you're doing and they have the means to help you, they'll help you. Peter's harder than a lot, but he always comes around. You just have to keep working him. That's what you have to do with Peter. He's got this huge heart. He really does. He tries to hide it. I know it's in there, Peter. You've shown it to me many, many times. And we have so many people like Peter in this extended college family that I would have not accomplished 2/3 of what we've done around the physical plan of the institution without people willing to say, yeah, I'm going to help the college because I want to help those students because I believe in the work of GRCC. So all I can say going out the door is it's been my honor. It has been my capstone. I have worked with tremendously talented people. And to Bill Pink, my successor, 15 years from now, Bill, when you're standing here, I know you will feel the same level of love from the group that's sitting out there. Thank you very much. It has been our honor to serve. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to do a special presentation. So Peter Secchi is going to come to the podium for a moment.
All right, good. Michigan won by 1 point. No. Oh, shit, he lied to me. I'm sorry. I thought here I am, a Sparty, going to cheer. Michigan, I'm sorry. I got a guy over here who's a Michigan fan who told me Michigan won by 1. Oh, it wasn't you, the other guy over there. I'll get him later. Sorry, guys. Oregon won. Anyways, after that, after what Steve and Karen did, it's hard to be humorous, especially when I make an ass out of myself with the wrong score. That table next week, double that price. Anyway, guys, I'm here to make a quick announcement. It is very difficult when an Italian American has to follow an Italian American. who's a better speaker than he is, and who doesn't have to tell jokes to get your attention. And I don't have time for jokes tonight because we're going to all go see the follow-up on TV, and it's after 9, and I have a household rule: never stay out past 9 because you can't get home in time for 10 o'clock news, and you can't get up at 6 in the morning. So that's the way it is. We got to let you out of here. But because of the teachings that Steve and I got from our fathers and grandfathers, the bloodline, we know that you're supposed to give to others. And Steve tonight gave his final night, the funds that are raised tonight, for the scholarship of students. That in itself is a bigger testimony than those of us who write checks. Stephen, a wonderful gesture. But we thought you needed a few surprises for your own enjoyment and put a smile on your face. So today, after I got back and found out Monday, of course, that my team wasn't going to be playing, I was going to be here tonight, Kathy called me and said, would you make the presentation? And I decided that I wasn't prepared. So I had to quickly put it together. So Joan's going to give you a file, and I'm going to explain it to you right now. I called Pietro's today, and I asked the chef himself to bring in a package of Italian goodies to remind you of your ancestors. And then tonight, we've got Chef Timerasoni. It's not his real name, but he's a Hollander, and I had to come up with a good name. Timmy, right there in this table next to Joan. And his Giovanni, his partner, out of Pietro's. They brought this basket of Italian goodies for you to sample what it's like to live in Italy as you prepare to accept a gift from several of your friends and a list of only a few who were able to get reached in a quick moment of, hey, we got to do something. And we got together and we've booked you on a cruise in the Mediterranean to visit Italy, the Adriatic, and the coast of Croatia. So the group that put this together also scraped up a few shekels to pay for the plane ticket too. So you got a plane ticket, you got a cruise ship, you got all you can eat, all you can drink, you're on your own. You spend 2 days in Venice, then you go off and down the Adriatic and you go to beautiful cities like Kotor in Montenegro, or you come around to Taormina in Sicily and work your way up to Sorrento in Italy. And I won't go through all the other deals because it is getting late. But I want to tell you, you've got a package. It explains what you've got coming. And we're going to remember you as a man who woke us up tonight to the values of this community. And we're going to remember ourselves as having done something for a good person. And all of the people in this room had something to do with tonight in many different ways. The cruise is just a little something we added that had to come outside of the foundation. It had to come from people who wanted to give their money. And they gave it for you two to have a wonderful time. So I'm proposing a toast, and it's hard to do it when it's 15 minutes late. It's supposed to be ice cold. But this is limoncello. It is made from the zest of the lemons that grow in the area of Sorrento, Italy, where you will be at the end of September. In Sorrento, you will be drinking limoncello. So then, when you get off the ship, you're going to have 2 days in Rome, and then you can have more limoncello, but there you're buying. So tonight we buy and we say, congratulations to you for all you've done for all of us, and enjoy your trip. Have a wonderful time. It's a crociera you'll never forget. It'll be una fantastica. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and congratulations to all of you. Buon viaggio.
Okay. We have to get back on task so we can get out of here. Thank you so much, Peter, and the community members that contributed to this amazing gift. Now, I am pleased to announce that thanks to all of you in this room, we raised $313,500 for student scholarships tonight. What that means is we've permanently endowed a scholarship in Steve and Karen's name, and the rest will be used for discretionary scholarships here on campus. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now to close the program, I invite Larry Murphy to the podium. Larry is the chairperson of the GRCC Foundation Board. Thank you.
How does this Irish Catholic follow that? Kathy said I'm the closer, which she described as be very brief, so I will be. I had prepared marks, but I do want to off the cuff say that for the last hour or so, all of us have heard about the Ender effect. And that is, for the last 8 years, every one of us, in some way, shape, or form, has been impacted by Karen and Steve Ender, and we've all been the better for it. That includes the foundation and its board. And on behalf of the board and the foundation, Steve and Karen, we give you our heartfelt thanks for everything you've done to support the mission of the foundation, whose mission it is to raise scholar dollars for students. As all of you know, or should know, there are many students that attend GRCC who, but for the scholarships they receive, they could not advance their education. And sometimes that's just a few dollars. And so our mission is to make sure that as many students have access to the wonderful programs that Steve has shepherded over the last 8 years. In fact, our last foundation board meeting last week, Steve reminded us that we're far from being completed in our mission. While scholarships will exceed, as Kathy mentioned, over $1 million for the first time in the school's history, there are still many students who simply cannot afford to go to school here. And so, as the chair, I ask you to keep that in mind, to listen to what Steve told us, and that is, it's not over. Continue to support us. And Steve, even though you're retiring, we're going to bring you back. You can run, but you can't hide, and we're going to have you help us out with that. So with that, thank you very much, Steve and Karen. Godspeed.